Hi everyone, and welcome to this Sunday's Live. We're so glad you could join us today. I'm Tami, the creator of this YouTube channel and the blog called Nutmeg Notebook, and we are whole food, plant-based. We also happen to be SOS free, which stands for salt, oil, and sugar, but don't worry, the food still tastes delicious. And speaking of oil-free, today I'm actually going to show you how to saute vegetables without oil. I know, you'd think it can't be done when you first adopt this lifestyle, but trust me, it can be done. So a little bit of housekeeping first. My husband Tom is behind the camera right now, but we have our moderators with us today. Hi ladies, Tiffany, Randy, Jesse, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you have questions, you can put your questions in the comments. If you would preface the question with 4 question marks, then type your question and end with 4 question marks. That helps it to pop out at us. If you could wait until after my presentation to put your questions in there, that would be really helpful. Since Tom is behind the camera right now, he really won't be able to look for the questions for you and anything else that I'm missing. I hope not. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We're glad to have you join us. I have my stainless steel skillet preheating here, and I'm going to start off showing you a dry saute method first. I can hear the sound on the computer.
Yeah, go over and mute
I
it.
gotta go mute it.
It's on the ad.
It was
There you go.
It was distracting me, if you guys could tell. I was like having a little child over there saying, hey, hey. So anyway, I'm going to teach you a method that I learned from Chef Ramsey Bravo from the True North Health Center. So Tom and I were there during December last year. Yeah, it was last year, December last year. And we got to watch him do a cooking demo, which showed me how you could use a stainless steel skillet. So first I'm going to do a little saute in this, and then I'm going to show you how I do it in my ceramic pan. And so I have, this is a very old skillet. It's over 40 years old. We've had it since we got married. Tom actually had it before we got married, and it is an old one that was made by Salad Master. And the reason I don't use it that often is because you can see it doesn't hold a lot. It's really small. And you know, with our way of eating, we eat a lot of food and we eat a lot of greens. So this will be a nice technique for you. If you don't particularly love your greens, this will be helpful, I think, in showing you a way to make them very flavorful. Now, this is not a recipe, but you should have a pen and paper because you might want to take notes, because this is a technique that I'm teaching you, and then you can do it with lots of different various greens and vegetables. I'm going to start off by sauteing. I have a red onion here and I have some mushrooms, but if you wanted to use a white onion or a yellow onion, you could do that. This is a red onion. This is a shallot, and you could certainly use a chopped up shallot if you would like, and that is just a cross between garlic and onion, and it's just like more mild than either one of them. It's kind of like the two got together and had a baby. And we can add fresh garlic as well. So I think my pan is hot. So if you, oh, it's perfect. So if you sprinkle some water in there and it bubbles and then dissipates towards the edge, the pot is ready. And you don't want to start this with a cold pot. So I'm going to go ahead and dump in both the onions and the mushrooms all at once. And can you hear the sizzle? Because somebody wrote to me recently and said, how do you get that sizzle in the pan without any oil? And hopefully you can hear the sizzle. You don't have earbuds in sound, so you don't know. Okay. Well, hopefully you can hear it. I can get close with my mic because it is making a sizzle.
Don't catch your hair on fire.
I don't want to catch my hair on fire. And the pan is warm. And so far so good. And there was no oil in the pan. Somebody's giving us a thumbs up. You could hear the sizzle. Okay, great. And there was no oil in the pan. I didn't oil it. In fact, I have no oil in my house. I have no cooking spray. I have no oil. And what's going to happen with the dry saute and having that pan hot to begin with, it's going to help caramelize those onions. It's going to pull the natural sugar out of the onions. And so you're going to see that the bottom of the pan is going to get a little bit brown. But that's okay, we're not worried about it. And I'm just going to break up these mushrooms just a little bit. And while this is heating up, I am just going to go ahead and chop my garlic. This is a little mini chopper that Chef AJ gave me the last time she came to visit. And it's made by Tupperware, and it works perfect for garlic. So, and I'm not using all of the garlic in this first batch, but it has a little pull string. Which is really great because this is perfect to take traveling with you. Camping, on a road trip. You know, everybody's staying in like Airbnbs now or getting hotel rooms that have little kitchenettes so they can cook their own food. And this is perfect to take with you on the road. And see, it does a beautiful job. Oh, he's up here. It does a beautiful job with the garlic. Okay, this is the aroma. I wish we had smell-o-vision because the aroma is starting to get really nice here. And I'm just going to move things around a little bit. Now the mushrooms will also start releasing their juices, and that's going to help keep things from sticking. Now, how high of a heat to use and how much you can cook in your pan is going to depend on your pan. You know, and it's going to vary. It's also going to depend on your stove. So I have mine on not even medium heat. It is a lower heat because I have discovered that things will burn pretty quickly in this pan without any liquid in it. So I'm just going to move it around. So I want to tell you that Chef Bravo, he's amazing, and he knows so much about whole food plant-based cooking. We have put in the show notes a link to his online cooking courses. It's a full-on course where you learn how to do all these wonderful techniques that are so important to know for plant-based, SOS-free cooking. And he only charges $20 for it, you guys. And it could have been like a $150, $200 course. When I bought it, my daughter and I binge watched it all in like one afternoon. And it was so amazing, and we learned a lot of things that we didn't know. And we're both really good cooks, but we still learned a lot of new things. So I'm going to tip this up so you guys can see what's happening here. Do you see?
You can go ahead and keep it down.
Okay. So I'm getting some...
You don't want to lose your caramelization.
No, I'm getting some nice color. And if I had used a white onion, we would have been able to see the color more, but I had the red onion cut up for this. And but it smells amazing. Do you see how the mushrooms are getting cooked? And I haven't added any liquid. Now, when you add some liquid to it, you are more steaming it than you are sauteing it. But there is a method called wet saute. This is dry saute because I didn't add anything. Now, if it did start to stick really bad, I could add some low sodium vegetable broth. This is the Engine 2. It's only sold currently at Whole Foods, but what I like about it has no oil in it, and it only has 35 milligrams of sodium per cup, and that is extremely low for a purchased broth. Or you can use a little bit of water. That works too. So the thing that you have to remember is when you're cooking this way, you have to be patient. Just be patient with this. Now, here's what you might want to jot down. Here is Chef Ramsay's method that he shared with us at True North. He said to saute vegetables and greens If you want them to have some good flavor, you need something that gives it depth. And that would be garlic, onion, or shallot. And then if you are going to add some liquid, that could be apple juice, broth, vinegar, water, or what I'm going to use for this one would be tomatoes, because the tomatoes have a lot of juice in them. And then for flavoring, you can use dry spice, which I'm going to use a little bit of dried thyme because I didn't have any fresh, or you can use fresh herbs. And you can always save the stems of the fresh herbs to use if you're going to make your own broth. And this is looking good. So now I'm going to go ahead.
Do you change the heat setting as you go, or do you keep it on low?
I do not for this. I just keep it, I keep this one right where it's at because I don't have a lot of volume in here. If I had a lot of volume, I might want to change the temperature.
You can hand me stuff.
I can hand you stuff? Okay.
Don't walk out of the picture.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic. And again, this is just to taste, you guys, whatever you like. And garlic can burn pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and add some tomatoes to it. And these are just the nice little salad tomatoes. And I've just cut them in half so that they will release their juices. And now I'm going to add some greens. So I've just got to get in here, Tom. And what I'm using today are super greens. And this is baby kale and baby spinach. And there's one other, but I can't remember what it is right now. I can't remember if it's baby mustard greens or what it is. So just a couple handfuls, because this one in this pot right now, I'm just making what I would consider to be one serving. And I'm just going to add a little bit of thyme. And I'm just going to kind of rub it together just to try to activate the oils a little. And I'm just going to move it around. And the heat from the onions and the mushrooms and the tomatoes should, and the skillet, of course. See, this is a little skillet. Stuff wants to fly out. It's what happens when you got a little pan. Now, I could have done, since it's a small amount, I could have done this also in the large saucepan that goes with this set of pots and pans, but it's deeper. It would have held everything without it flying out, but you wouldn't have been able to see what I was doing as good as you can by me using the skillet. And so see, now they're just starting to wilt. And it's still sizzling. And you can just saute it for as long as you want. Depends on how wilty you like your greens to be.
You're losing your sizzle. You might want to turn it up a skip.
Yeah, it started because those greens were cold. I just turned it up a little bit, but I'm almost done.
People are liking stove cam.
You guys like stove cam? Good. Hey, it's kind of fun. We're doing something different today. And I've been wanting to do a video for this, and we just hadn't had time, and so we decided, hey, let's just go ahead and do it today. Oh, it smells so amazing. It really does. Okay, then you can season it with a little bit of black pepper if you want. What I'm going to use instead is, you guys know how much I love black cumin seeds, because Dr. Greger says a quarter teaspoon of these a day helps with blood pressure and LDL cholesterol and weight loss. It has so many health benefits. And so I'm just going to grind some over the top. It actually tastes a lot like black pepper, and I just love it. Okay, so now it's done because my greens are just starting to stick. See there? Isn't it beautiful? So colorful.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to plate this up so you can see. I'm going to hand these tomatoes to you, Tom, and let you toss those back there. Put these in a bowl. Now, another option that you could do for this, which what Chef Bravo did when he did the demonstration for us is he added, instead of tomatoes, he added a little bit of fresh pineapple to one of the sautés and a little bit of curry powder. And closer, closer, closer. Oh, it's just, oh, it's so amazing. So this is a wonderful 1 serving size. I was gonna taste it, but I don't want the greens in my teeth while I'm doing the rest of the show, but I'm dying to eat it, you guys. It smells so good. So anyway, you could do like 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder, and you could put some fresh pineapple in and just a little bit of red pepper flakes if you like that. Now, another thing that you could do with this, and I would before I eat it, is I would drizzle it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. And if you're following Dr. Esselstyn for a heart condition and eating greens, a fistful of greens 6 times a day, he does recommend that you eat them with a little bit of vinegar, and vinegar with the greens would be perfect. And the greens are kind of salty, so if you're missing that salty component, then the greens are great for that. Okay, so we're going to put that off to the side, and I'm going to move this skillet, but I can't really hand it to you, Tom.
Just set it right here.
Okay, I just want to move these things so it doesn't melt anything. I don't want it to melt any of the Tupperware. And then I am going to heat up my, oops, sorry you guys, I know that was really loud in your ears. I'm going to heat up my scan pan. Now this is a ceramic pan. We've talked about it a number of times. It has a non-stick ceramic surface, and I really love it. I leave it out on my stove because I use it all the time. It's big, it's a 5.5 quart, so it holds a lot of vegetables. And again, what I'm going to show you this time is I'm going to show you how I batch prep, because you know me, I'm not going to do just a single serving of vegetables, right? I'm going to batch prep them. And so I usually do 4 servings at a time because why not? I just don't take them, you know, to the point of being overly wilty, because when I go to heat them up, I don't want it to turn to mush. And so that's why I'll show you. I kind of do it to the point where it's a bit al dente. But again, we have to preheat this. We want this to heat up a bit for us before we start sauteing the onions and the mushrooms. And then I have another bowl of yummy vegetables that I'm going to add to it. And what I do, oh, Tom's giving you a sneak peek. He's giving you a sneak peek. Okay, so if there were any questions, are you able to see comments? No, you can't see. We should have put that computer closer to you.
Well, you can run over, well, that's going to heat up pretty soon.
Yeah, it's going to heat up pretty fast. Not yet. It's not there yet. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, so anyway, I was telling you, you've got, if you haven't already signed up for Chef Bravo's cooking course, do, because it's $20 well spent. You have access to the cooking classes. They're all done in short videos, and you can watch them over and over and over again. So, you know, like I thought it was fun to go through and watch all of them, and then sometimes I go back and I look at a particular one again just to, you know, refresh my memory on how his technique was. Almost there. Not quite. Almost. But anyway, and I have no affiliation with it. We have no affiliate. I just think it's a really wonderful course, and he's working on a second edition. He's already filmed it, and they're in the process of editing, and then he'll have another whole course of more advanced techniques, I guess. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I will tell you that in my stainless steel skillet, my silicone spatula does not work really well. That's why I was using a wood utensil, because the wood seems to work better. In the stainless steel, this one just seems to kind of catch on the dry saute, but I do use it in my scan pan, and it seems to be fine in the scan pan. Not quite there yet. We're getting close. So, so this is fun to be able to do this with you guys here at the stove. So it's important that you learn how to make the greens and how to make them more palatable. When you first transition to a whole food plant-based diet, the greens are a bit bitter, and so a lot of people have to wait until they're taste buds neuro adapt to that, and so you just need to maybe add a little fruit. That's why a lot of people do like to use pineapple or apple with it, or some mango, because that sweetness helps to counter the bitterness of the greens.
Reeves dropped in. I hope she behaves herself.
Reeves, are you here? That's good. Okay, now we're getting there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and put in my onions. I have a mixture of red and white onion for this one, and quite a few mushrooms. I'm not going to use all of this because what I do, and I'm going to make this like I normally do. That's why I use some white onion and some red onion, because when I make this, what I do is I look at what I have in the fridge that needs to be used up, and that's what I pull out to use. And I judge how much I need by how much is in the pan.
Does that make it dump saute like my
I guess it's dump saute. I guess it is. And so then we're going to kind of do the same thing. You know, we're going to let this cook up. And in this one, I don't mind putting a little bit of broth in it if I feel like it's a little too dry, because I'm going to add a lot of vegetables to it. And if it creates a little bit of broth when I put it all into my dishes for reheating, I'm okay with that, because that just adds a lot of flavor. It's kind of like, you know, how Chef AJ's always talking about pot liquor. It's a little bit like pot liquor, and it has a tremendous amount of flavor in it. Is there a problem?
No, there's just a question about stainless steel pans, and it already disappeared off my screen, but we don't know a whole bunch about stainless steel pans other than the one we have is made by Salad Master.
Yeah, just,
you know, it's important. I'm talking off camera, I'm breaking the rules, but while you're sauteing, it's important to get a triclad thing, something that's stainless steel with an iron in the center for heat disbursement.
yeah, I think that Chef Bravo talks about the pans. Now, I can't remember if he talked about them in the cooking class or if it was on a video that he did either on his Facebook page or when Chef AJ interviewed him. But I remember him talking about stainless steel pans. But I don't have any recommendation.
Yeah, Reeves says that there's some at Costco that's reasonably priced and good quality.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Reeves. That's good to know. Is that what Dillon has? Is his set from Costco? I think maybe I remember you guys talking about it in a video. So here's what you can do. You can use as much onion and as much mushrooms as you like. Or if you don't like mushrooms, leave them out. If I don't have mushrooms, I don't worry about it. I just go ahead and saute onion. And I love onion and I love garlic. So, and you can hear the sizzle? I'll get close. That is the sizzle. And so the onions are cooking and they smell delicious. So I really like the flavor that onion and garlic adds, or you could use shallots as well. And as far as the vegetables to use for this, I just use whatever I have too much of, or whatever looks like it's going to spoil in the fridge if I don't get around to cooking it pretty soon. Now you can see that this is starting, the onions are just starting to get a little bit of caramelization on them. And so if I wanted to pick up the little bits of brown in the bottom, I would just add a little bit of liquid to it, and that could be either the broth or the water, and then just scrape the bottom of the pan, and all those little brown bits that have a lot of flavor will come up and just help add flavor to what I'm making. And this smells really amazing. We have another crazy busy week this week, so I'm really glad that I'm doing this right now, you guys, because otherwise I'd have to do it after we do the live show. so that I will have it for the next few days. Because I'll take this and I'll make a meal right out of it. You'll see. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my next batch of veggies because the onions and the mushrooms are going to get to keep cooking. So I have some of these carrots. These just waffle cut carrots. I have some zucchini, and you can see I cut it pretty thick. Sorry, my fingernails have mushroom all up in them. Okay, and I have some yellow bell pepper that I'm going to put in here. I'm being nice. Usually I just dump.
There goes the dumping.
There goes the dumping. And then this is, I batch prepped my salads yesterday, and this is some leftover mix that, because I made 12 salads, and then whatever's left over, then I go ahead and put in here, and everything except the romaine. So this has baby kale, baby spinach. It has red cabbage and broccoli slaw in it.
There was a question that just flashed by about how you keep the garlic from burning and sticking.
Yeah, you add it more towards the end. Like I'm going to add mine now, and it won't burn because it's all in there with all these other veggies, and all of this stuff makes a lot of moisture. Okay, so now I just stir this. If I'd had yellow squash, I would have added some yellow squash. Sometimes I add broccoli, cauliflower. If I have sugar snap peas, last week I added fresh asparagus, and a lot of it because I had like half a bag that was about to go bad, and so I cut it. So then I give this a nice stir, and isn't it beautiful? Look at all the color in here, you guys. And you see I need this really big pot to do this. Okay, this is looking really good. Okay, so here's what I do next then. And see, and like the reason this isn't a recipe is it's going to depend on how much stuff you have and how big your pan is. Now, this is those power greens, and I buy these either at Costco. Usually I get them at Costco, but if Costco doesn't have them, then we'll buy them at Whole Foods. And remember that these wilt down to practically nothing. And I really load it up. And sometimes I even put more than this. Okay, and then I go ahead and put the lid on. And now it's just going to steam a little bit. And it will help to wilt what's on top because there's so much volume in there right now that I can't stir it. And so I need it to steam up a little bit. Now, I will, when I'm done with this, when cooking with it, then I'm going to divide it into 4 containers, and I'll show you. And these came from Costco. Oh, I didn't know you were following me, honey. Sorry. And these came from Costco, and I love these. They have these are Pyrex, and they have the snap wear lids. So the bottom is glass. They're freezer safe, refrigerator safe, microwave safe, and they have these really awesome lids. And then you can use like whiteboard markers on them if you need to put names on them or date them or what have you. You can do that. I haven't used those yet, but I did buy some recently so that I could do that. So, and I like these because they will stack in the refrigerator. So, and they're square. So, you know, they'll push up close to the side of the refrigerator and they don't take up too much room, and I can heat it up in the microwave, less the lid, no problem. And so how I turn those into meals is I will just add a grain to it. So, you know, some nights if I've been at my daughter's house helping with the kids all day, I might not get home until 6:30 you know, between 6 and 6:30 usually. And that is a quick and easy meal for me because I can either just air fry some potatoes quickly, or I call Tom on my way home and say, honey, will you start some potatoes, smashed potatoes in the air fryer for me? Does somebody want to see it again?
Where did those come from?
I got these at Costco, but you can get them a lot of places. They have them on Amazon. So look at our Amazon shop page just in the show notes. It's amazon.com/shop/Nutmeg Notebook. And it's the best way to buy them is in sets, and they come in a lot of different sizes. So we have like 6 cup, 4 cup, we have the round ones, we have the little ones, oh, I guess I already moved it. And we have little ones, they come in a variety of sizes, and we love them. We use them every single day. So they're wonderful.
Tiffany just super chatted you.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. That's nice. So I'll just add starch. You can add oat groats, quinoa, rice, millet, sweet potatoes. You can add whatever you like. Now, this is starting to get wilty, and so now I'm going to move it around. Oh, now I can really smell the garlic in here too. It smells so good. I'm going to set this down so I don't accidentally drop it. Now, all kinds of crazy things happen when you're doing live cooking segments, you guys. Like stuff that never happens normally will happen. Or something that you do all the time and never have a mistake. When you go live, something funky will happen and you'll have a mistake. And it's like, wait, that never happened before. So now I'm just going to stir it up. I want to get some of that stuff off the bottom because I don't want anything to turn to mush. Tom, can you smell the garlic?
I can.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Do you need more heat with all that or no?
It's actually doing pretty good.
I'm always trying to push things. You know?
I know you are, but that doesn't always work. You know, have you guys noticed that men always want to turn the fire up really high? They want to do everything on high because they think, oh, it'll be quicker that way. But you don't always get the same result when you do that. And especially with the cooking without oil, you do not want to use high heat. And it tells you, like the Scan Pan says, to just use medium heat. Okay, so this is about where I like it to be. Did you get a close-up, Tom? Because I know that I'm going to be reheating this. And so I'll be reheating the individual dishes of it. And so I don't want it to be overcooked because it'll get to finish cooking when I do the reheat. So the mushrooms are completely cooked, the onions are completely cooked, the garlic, the edge has been taken off the garlic so it's not raw anymore. And then just let me show you. So I just kind of eyeball it. I kind of divide it here and kind of eyeball it and load up my containers. And you guys have seen this in my what I eat in a day many, many times. And I do like to let the steam kind of cool down a bit before I try to put those lids on. But see, these are just perfect because it gives me room to add some starch to it. Or sometimes I'll have this as a side dish and I'll put a veggie burger and maybe some corn on the cob with it and have that just be a delicious side dish. If you're following Chef AJ's program and you're eating vegetables for breakfast, this is a great make-ahead breakfast because if you take it to work with you, you can heat it up in the microwave at work, or you could heat it up at home before you go and put it in a heat-safe container or a thermos to keep it hot. Or you can just heat it up at home. And that way, see, you don't have to make a mess because here I am, it would take me about the same amount of time to make just one single serving of this. but I'm doing 4 and I only have to do dishes once. And I love that.
Mary Jo's asking you if you pre-cook most of your foods that you store in the fridge.
A lot of it. I don't know what percentage of it is cooked. I've never really, I haven't thought about that. But, you know, we have a lot of stuff that's cooked. We have a lot of stuff that is prepped and frozen, just because I don't want to spend all my time in the kitchen. I just don't want to, I don't want to have to cook from scratch like this every single day. And it's not that I'm lazy, I'm very, very busy. And I have lots of things to do. So I'm just looking for which one looks a little light to give it a little more. And I think it's this one. And then, Tom, we're going to move over to the island so I can finish talking about it.
Oh, I misunderstood that question. I'll have to go back up and read it. Jessie says it's not cooked, that they meant cooled. We'll go back and check the question.
Okay. All right.
Are you ready to move over? Are we done at the stove?
I am. I'm ready to move over.
Okay.
So Tom's going to, it's going to be a little jerky. You're probably going to think that we're having an earthquake
I'm going
for
to
just
move
a
you
minute.
to the top of this tripod here. So we're going to put you guys right there off of my single pole.
Hi. There we go.
Okay.
And after, Tom can edit that part out.
Yeah, don't give us any important tips right now because I'm going to cut this.
No important
All
tips.
this shaking, rattling, and rolling. I have to be careful not to drop Tami.
Don't drop me, honey. That would be bad. So are these
Rich
in?
says hi from Rich and Dixie.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Rich and Dixie.
I got to change my... And if you'll sit down so I get my height.
Okay, sure. How's that?
So I can get as many of these goodies in there, I got to back this up.
This is a learning curve, doing a live cooking segment with you guys. So thank you for your patience. We appreciate it.
Oh, Gina says don't take it out because that'll cut that part of the chat out.
Oh, would that make that part of the chat go away? I hadn't thought about that. Okay, so that one's a little heavy. So I'll have to even them out, which is what I do after I dish them up. I try to even them out so that each one is about the same. And this is, this is about what I usually make. I guess maybe a little more greens, because usually I pack more greens on top where I can just barely get the lid on. But you can see, this is so delicious. I love this. And I'm not a mono eater. I don't like all one vegetable. So I wouldn't want all just kale. I like the mixture of having a variety, plus I love the color. And so it's really, really pretty. And here's what you can do. Lots of different things that you can do to flavor it. So I can put some brown rice with it, and then I can use the California balsamic teriyaki. What?
I'm here.
Oh, hi, honey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom. For those of you new to us, I've been behind the camera. But I'm going to come around and watch the comments and transfer questions to Tami as is appropriate. So
great. And so this will give us a little Asian flavor to it. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and add a little bit of ginger to it. And then we have the Well Your World sauce, the Asian everything sauce. And this is quick and easy and takes no prep from me. And I love it. And it has a wonderful flavor. And it's SOS free. And we have a link. We do have an affiliate with Well Your World. And so there is an affiliate link down below that you can use if you want to check out Dillon's SOS free sauces, which is salt, oil, and sugar free. And they're amazing. Now, I could go for a little bit of lemon. The Simply Lemon from California Balsamic is really light and refreshing, and I love it. So if I did some air fried potatoes to put with one of these and then a little bit of the lemon, that makes for just a really nice light combo. And then what?
I have Dillon's link in the show notes.
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Wow, that never happens. That never happens.
That never happens.
Nope.
Now, if I wanted a completely different flavor, then the Well Your World Indian everything sauce is fantastic. If you like a little bit of that curry flavor, a little Indian spice, this is wonderful. And add some chickpeas to the veggies instead of a grain. Oh, lost track for a moment. Instead of a grain, and it's fantastic. So then you have this wonderful vegetable chickpea curry that's just delicious. And you can use regular balsamic, and sometimes I'm just in the mood for something very plain. So I'll use oat groats, and I have a video on how to make oat groats so that they come out like brown rice. They have a little bit of chew to them. They're great for reducing LDL cholesterol. And so sometimes I just want something kind of more plain. I'll use just this plain balsamic vinegar from Costco. I really like this vinegar, and it's a bargain for this great big bottle. I don't remember how much it is. I don't know if anybody knows offhand, but I've had it for a long time. It lasts a very long time. If you want a little more sweet note, and and these are a little bit pricier vinegars, then the Napa Valley Naturals Grand Reserve is a really nice one. If you have a Sprouts, it's kind of a health food / grocery store, or health food stores sell them, or Whole Foods sells this brand. And it's only 4% acidity, where most vinegars are 6%, but the California balsamics are also 4%. And it's a thick, syrupy type of vinegar, and it's absolutely delicious. Now, you can choose any of these, or I also like to use my Chipotle nacho cheese sauce and put it over the vegetables, and that goes with everything: potatoes, rice, millet, oat groats, garbanzo beans in there, whatever you choose. Or you could use my Alfredo sauce, and I have a SOS-free Alfredo sauce that is really popular. It's made with cauliflower. If you can believe it, you would never know that it has cauliflower in it. And then you could put some fresh basil with it, and a little bit of my Parmesan sprinkle over the top, and all of a sudden you have Italian. If tomato based is more your thing, then you could use my oil-free marinara. It's a classic marinara sauce. Same thing, add some fresh basil to it. You could do either white kidney beans or cannellini beans with it, and that would be really, really delicious. Oh, sometimes I throw the little tomatoes in too. So when your tomatoes start to get a little puckery, the little like grape style tomatoes start to get a little puckery, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just starting to dehydrate. They're starting to dry up and lose their water content. But if you take and throw them in a saute like this, it will plump them back up, and they're really delicious. And so you can do that with the tomatoes. Yes?
I was reading the notes, so I don't know if you mentioned, or if you're talking about the price of this. SB just got this for $10.99.
Okay, I was going to guess 12. So it's
so
about...
thank you, SB, for that information.
Thank you so much. About $11. I mean, that is a bargain, and it's a very good tasting balsamic vinegar, and that's at Costco. And you guys, check on Amazon, because a lot of times Amazon has some of the Costco items. So if you don't have a Costco near you or don't have a membership, then check online. Sometimes the prices are outrageous compared to Costco, but sometimes the price is almost the same. So check that out.
What's the brand of the black cumin seed grinder?
It would be on our Amazon page. I don't think it tells on it.
It doesn't say on it anywhere, does it?
Nope, it doesn't say on it, but it's on our Amazon shop page, and I'll show you and also the black cumin seeds that we buy are on that page also, and I'll show you. And it's Nigella sativa, but they are black cumin seeds. And it was difficult to find a brand that had good ratings, good comments.
Jacqueline,
and this one did.
Yeah, Jacqueline, this will be called Gravity Peppermill. So just go on to the Amazon.com/shop/Nutmeg Notebook, and you can find it and click on it and get all the specifications there. Maybe you can find it elsewhere, but I've only seen it on Amazon.
Keep talking, Tom, while I grab a glass of water.
But the complete description is there. I recall just from seeing it that it's Gravity Pepper Grinder something like that. And there's nobody. As soon as you tip it, it starts grinding, and for whatever reason they put a light that comes on, an LED light. So as soon as you tip it, it takes off. So it's really easy to give it a quick shot over the food like that.
And I will season these with that when I go to eat it. So I put that on just about everything. And I don't know if Dr. Greger has a video about it yet on his website at nutritionfacts.org. But he does write about it in his book, the last book that he no, it wasn't the last book. The last book he put out was about the pandemic. In his How Not to Diet book, he does talk all about the black cumin seed. And it does need to be ground because the studies that he cites, they tested people with it using a cumin powder, a black cumin powder. Okay.
Tiffany just got it recently, and she says she really likes it. The gravity, that thing.
Great. I'm so glad. We've been very happy with it. It does a great job, and I use it at least twice a day because I will put that on my chopped salads at lunchtime. If I have soup, I'll put it on my soup. I put it on everything. I really like it. Okay, any other questions that I can answer?
It's okay to ask for questions now, everybody.
If you asked any questions earlier that we missed, maybe you could just go ahead and put them in the chat now. And so as this cools down, then I will put the lids on it and I'll pop it in the fridge. And then, that's either 4 side dishes or the beginning of 4 meals for me. And so between that and what I batch prepped yesterday, I'm like all set. Because yesterday I made 12 salads. So he gets half of those salads, I get the other half, and we will chop those each day. And I made, Chef AJ interviewed Carol Levy, and she made a Moroccan chickpea or Moroccan vegetable tagine, and I made that, and it's outstanding. And you do want the fresh herbs that she recommends to serve it with. And I served it over couscous, and then I also made Drina Burton's creamy corn chowder casserole. I made a double batch of that, and then we shared some of that with our daughter and her family as well.
There was a question quite a bit earlier when you were talking, there was a conversation going about the pans.
Yes.
The scan pan, where does it come from? Is it still available? The lady that was asking about the different stainless steel pans. So scan pan is still very much in business. They call it scan because they are from Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. And they're layered stainless steel. They're on the upper, they have different price points within their line. So we do have one similar to that one. It's not as big, that's on our Amazon page. We used to have that one on there, but the last time I checked, it wasn't available on Amazon. But if you Google scan pan, a bunch of information will come up. Tami likes that one because of the width and the depth of it. And we got it at Sur La Table, I think,
Sur La Table.
And we had a coupon and a sale or something going on there. But it's like a $300 pan. And
it is.
You know, get a whole set of pans for Costco for less than that.
You can.
But she uses it several times a day.
Which is why I showed you that old stainless steel pan that's, over 40 years old.
I bought it in 1973.
Whoa. Okay. So it's really old. But, stainless steel is really...
So it's 47 years old.
It's old.
Yeah.
But I used it first because I wanted you guys to see that if you have a stainless steel pan already, you can use it. So you just have to play around with it. Like, just try different...
Jacqueline wants to see it again.
Different heats and just play around with it until you master what works best with what you have.
So this is dirty because we just used it. We prefer this one over some of the other models because it has the full glass lid so you can see all of the contents while you're using it covered. They have a line that is like half stainless steel and then a glass center. that works probably
And that
equally
would
as
be
well.
that would be okay. I
Yeah.
just like to be able to see when it's time to take
Yeah.
the lid off and stir the greens.
Yeah, but this one's a few years old and gets heavy use.
It does.
But it presumably will last for years to
And
come
so,
as well.
and another thing that I like about the Scan Pan is I brown my veggie burgers in it and my breakfast sausages, my homemade breakfast sausages. I brown those right in that Scan Pan. So I preheat it just like I did for sauteing today. And then I put my veggie burgers in and I set my timer for 4 minutes. And if I don't mess with them for 4 minutes, then I can flip them without breaking them. They just need to get a nice brown crust on one side before I try to put a spatula underneath them, because I know a lot of people who don't do oil bake their veggie burgers, and I have never had good luck doing that. They always come out really dry for me and crumbly. I don't know what I do wrong, but I can brown them in my Scan Pan.
A question from Colleen: does black cumin taste like regular cumin?
It does not. It tastes more like black pepper. It does not taste like cumin. If you like black pepper, then you would like it, because I think it tastes like black pepper.
Question from, I agree. Question from Jacqueline Torres: are you planning on doing a pre-Thanksgiving holiday blog post for holiday meal ideas like you did last year?
I did one last year, and I would say all those same foods are
That's what we'll be repeating this year.
Yes, except for, that brings up a good point. So I developed 2 new recipes that would be perfect for Thanksgiving. And one is a cranberry chutney, and it has pineapple in it and apple, and it's really delicious. Yes, and an apple crisp. And those 2 recipes are new, and they have not been published yet, but they are going to be published in the fall issue of the Health Science magazine. And so I did the recipe spread for the Health Science magazine, and I believe 6 recipes will be in there, and those 2 new recipes will be included. And so you can go to, will you put
Well, 2 things. For those of you that are already subscribed to Nutmeg Notebook, you all got an email this morning from me about 4 hours ago, with a link at the bottom of the newsletter for National Health Association is the organization, healthscience.org is their website address, and Health Science Magazine is the name of the magazine. They've been around for 70 plus years, but I put a whole little article at the bottom of the newsletter I sent to all Nutmeg Notebook subscribers this morning. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and visit nutmegnotebook.com and get signed up. But there is, in the show notes of this video, I have a link in the description to also get you to healthscience.org to get signed up as a member.
And so when it's $35 to get a membership, which allows you to you will get 4 magazines per year. They do them quarterly, and it's full of wonderful articles all about a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So
and an electronic library of all the past articles. So
all
it's
the past articles,
quite a wealth of information.
Yes, and all the past recipes. And so it's a wonderful organization. We've been subscribing to the magazine for the past year and have really enjoyed all of the articles, and of course the recipe spreads as well. So, so those 2 new recipes will be here. Eventually I will probably put them on the blog, but I did develop them for the Health Science fall issue.
If you know that you're a subscriber and you didn't see the email, please go into your junk folder. The email will be waiting there for you, and add Tami at nutmegnotebook.com as on your contact list, maybe. And while you're at it, Tom at nutmegnotebook.com. Usually I have the electronic sends come from her. So that way they won't wind up in your junk folder in the future.
Right.
So, okay.
Perfect. So for Thanksgiving, you can look at the post that I did last November. So I have a fabulous lentil shepherd's pie. That's probably what I will be making. That's usually what we have. Or the lentil loaf with the date glaze. And interesting story. So two of the ladies that work on the magazine sent me emails last week. And one lady said, okay, so the magazine hasn't even been published yet, and I've made your lentil loaf twice already. And she said the second time I made a double batch and froze half of it. My husband loves it, and it's already gone. And then another gal wrote and said, I've already made the apple crisp 3 times, and that's a new recipe.
That's supposed to be an occasional dessert treat.
Right,
what's going on?
Right, and that was Janice. Janice said, I've made it 3 times, and I've made the date paste several times. And so, you know, I was just thrilled that they said that, and they were like, and the magazine hasn't even come out. So they were like, our readers are gonna love your recipes as much as we do. So anyway, I was excited.
Good job, Tami.
Thank you.
Renee Kasman has a question about the dry saute. Does that work best with onions? Dry sauteing the onions.
You can do onions, or you can do, I'm not sure.
Her question is, does dry saute work best for onions? If you want to
No,
get
it
the
says with onions. It doesn't say for onions.
With
it
onions.
says with onions.
Oh, yeah.
So you can use either, it works with onions, or it will also work with shallots. So when we were at True North, Chef Bravo showed us both. He did shallots and he did onion, and it works with both. So whatever you choose to do. But there's no harm in adding a little bit of broth or water if you need to. If you're testing it out to figure out what works best with your pan and it's not going well, go ahead and add a little bit of water or broth. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
It gives you some reprieve.
Well, what he talks about in his cooking class is that the dry saute method is good when you want everything to retain its color. So if you're doing the mushrooms and the onions and you want them to stay that dark color, then the dry saute method is good for that because it doesn't dilute anything. And let's say you're going to make a white sauce, or you're making an Alfredo sauce, but you want to saute your onion beforehand. You would want to use a little liquid in it because you wouldn't want the white onion to caramelize, because that would discolor your Alfredo sauce. And so you would want to use some liquid. And that's what he talked about, the difference between dry saute and wet saute.
Jillian McPherson's asking, when you batch prep your salads in advance, do you worry about vitamin and nutrient loss over time? I can answer that for me pretty simply. If those salads were not batch prepped, I wouldn't eat half as much as I get now. And so even if we are depreciating a few percentage points of nutrient content over the course of the week, whether it's the salads or the prepared saute here, I would be giving up 97% to save 3%, and I wouldn't get any percents. So when you cook stuff ahead, you might lose a little bit, but cooking stuff ahead gets it so that you get the 97%, 3, 4, 5 in the case of the salad 6 times a week. If they weren't prepared, I would have a salad maybe once or twice a week.
Well, here's the thing about the salads. So the only thing that I cut that goes in the salads that I cut is the romaine lettuce, and I cut the heads in half. Otherwise, the spinach I buy the baby spinach, so I don't have to cut it. I buy the baby kale, so I don't have to cut it. If I use super greens, I'm buying super greens that are baby greens, so I don't have to cut it. And then, the carrots are shredded. But if they lose a little bit of nutrients, I heard Dr. Greger tell somebody one time who asked about, well, if I do this or that to the broccoli, then does it lose some nutrients? And he said, and if it does, just eat another bite of broccoli. And I like that. So all of those vegetables that go into our salad, and the tomatoes, I don't cut the tomatoes. I leave the tomatoes. I use the little salad tomatoes and I leave them whole. And so all of that stuff, the red onion is cut. But so I cut two things. I cut the romaine and I do cut my red onion. But the rest of the stuff could either stay in containers in the refrigerator, and I could get them out every week, every day, and mix them together. Or I can go ahead and mix them together at the beginning of the week and put them in separate containers. So we really don't worry about it because we eat so much vegetables and so many greens.
I want to reinforce an answer that Jesse gave Riri on browning veggie patties in the stainless steel pan. We do use the
pan,
the non-stick for that because it's going to stick in the stainless steel.
I would think that it would stick. I've never tried it in the stainless steel pan because I just don't think that it would work in the stainless steel pan. So I've never tried it.
So we kind of.
But I don't think it would work. But I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
But I always use my scan pan to brown them, and it works beautifully.
Yeah, Jesse said you could brown things in the oven too, to kind of brown them from the top down.
You could. I mean, I think it's whatever method works for you, and a lot of people make their veggie patties in the oven, and they love them, and they turn out great for them. I just evidently do something wrong and they don't turn out for me. But whatever method works for you is fantastic.
Terry got signed up for the National Health Association recently and enjoyed Brittany Giroudi's recipes from the last issue.
Yes, wasn't that nice?
Job.
And our friend Shada Soleimani, who has Healthy Cooking with Shada, she was in the magazine. She did the recipes 1 month as well recently.
Stephanie's asking, other than greens, carrots, peppers, onions, what are other non-liquid veggies that you add to pre-prepped salads?
So watch my video. I have a video all about salad batch prep. And so if you Google simple salad batch prep, Nutmeg Notebook, you will find a video as well as a blog post all about that. And I show you exactly what
you talk about putting the wet ingredients in later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So things like, the cucumbers and bell peppers and tomatoes and all of that. I mean, I put the little salad tomatoes in, but they're not cut. So anything that's wet, you just wouldn't add. So, all of your greens, your carrots, your celery, those things are okay to add. And how long they're going to last depends on how fresh everything is when you get it, and how, I suppose, how efficient and how cold your refrigerator is. Because there's a gentleman, Don, who goes by Grandpa Cooks Vegan on Instagram, and he batch preps his salads based off of what I have taught him, and he can get his to last 10 days. And mine don't last that long, but he can make them last 10 days. And so how dry everything is when it goes into the containers, I suppose what kind of containers you use, how airtight they are, how you're storing them in your refrigerator. I mean, all kinds of things must factor into it, because some people tell me that their salads don't last more than 4 days, and but ours do last. They will last a week. And everything, when we go shopping, if I'm buying pre-washed spinach, pre-washed baby kale, whatever I'm buying, I look at the date, and the date needs to be past the last day that I know we need to eat the salads. And so if they don't have something that is past that date, then we go to another store to find stuff, because I'm not going to make the salads with things that I know are going to spoil before we have the opportunity to eat them all.
Costco Thursday, the entire pallet of broccoli was already going bad in the bag, and that's why it was such a big pile, because nobody was buying it. I don't know why they still had it out, but yeah, you've got to check the dates. And
then we look at the containers. So sometimes the spinach is really damp. It has moisture inside the container, and so then we won't buy that one. We look for containers that are dry, because the more moisture the vegetables have, the more apt they are to go bad for you.
Donna's mentioning that you can order the Napa Valley Grand Reserve by the case from Walmart.
Really? I did not know that.
You used to order by the case from before they got sold.
I used to order from them direct,
Yeah.
and then they sold the business, and
So we haven't been able to do that.
So that is great to know. So you guys, you can buy the Napa Valley Grand Reserve by the case from Walmart, and it's cheaper to purchase it that way, and free delivery to your house. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Donna, for sharing that. That is great news.
I think we are all caught up on questions.
And then if you didn't want a whole case, find a friend to split it with you, and then you won't have so many bottles if you don't want a whole case.
Here's a question I missed. Has anybody checked out the black cumin seeds from local spicery? Anything different or special about it?
I have not yet. I will tell you that they they only resource things from the most reliable spice resources. So you can totally trust what they are selling. And I haven't had any of theirs yet. So when our bag, we have a whole bag of it, but when our bag is gone, we will definitely try theirs.
Yeah, some of their spices, from their that we used to get from like the store, theirs is much more flavorful, much more. I'm trying to forget the one that has different types, and I just lost it. Not cumin. The red one.
The chipotle?
Yeah.
He's not sure.
I'm not sure.
Everything. The smoked paprika is more flavorful. Just all of their spices, because they mill them themselves. They do them in small batches. So you know that you're getting like the freshest spices that you could possibly get. So definitely, I would definitely buy local spiceries. Absolutely.
Maria's asking again about the temperature you sauteed in the scan pan. She's asking number 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't have numbers.
It's a low heat gas.
I have a gas stove top.
Probably 2 or 3 if you were going to do a scale of 1 to 10 on the flame.
Yeah, maybe so. I wasn't even medium. So between high and low, I wasn't even at the midway point. But that's for my gas oven. So you just kind of have to play with it and see what works best with your stove top.
Okay, I think we're all caught up, everybody. If anybody else has a last minute question, type fast and get it in. If you liked Tami's presentation earlier at the stove, please give her a thumbs up.
Awesome. And then somebody had written to us about putting together an emergency food bag because they live up in Oregon. I did respond to them in their email, but it took me a couple weeks because I couldn't find their email, and it had accidentally gotten deleted, and I finally found it. But anyway, they live up in Oregon, and they were afraid that they might have to evacuate because of fires. And then today I heard that in Napa, California, some people are being evacuated because fires over there. So I know between fires and hurricanes and floods and power outages and all kinds of things can happen, and winter will be coming, and I know a lot of people in the East, in the Midwest, can have problems in the winter time, and maybe sometimes if there's an ice storm or a really bad windstorm, you can lose power. And so how do you cook? What do you eat? And that's what she was saying, like, I don't know what I could pack to take with us if we have to evacuate and like go to a hotel or something. And so I just wanted to say I have a video called How to Eat Healthy Anywhere. And I think we did that, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 months ago. So check out the video, How to Eat Healthy Anywhere. And there are so many things that you can take with you. So there's beans that come in the, you can either get the cans with the pull top. Oh, what are you doing, honey?
I'm taking this apart.
Or you can get the kind that come in the little, are they called aseptic containers, the little cardboard containers, and they have a top on them that you just wiggle back and forth, and then you can tear off the strip and the box will open. McDougal does have some soups that come in those boxes, but I was looking at those at Whole Foods yesterday, and they are loaded with sodium. So, I mean, like 500, 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. It was crazy. I don't know why. Even the low sodium had more sodium than I would want in it. But you can take beans, you can buy canned lentils, so you wouldn't even have to cook the lentils, you would just need to heat them up. So you can take, we have a little 3-quart pressure cooker, so perfect for taking with you if you're going to a hotel room or getting an Airbnb, or even if you're gonna go stay with relatives, that you could take with you. There is jackfruit that comes already, it's already seasoned, it's cooked, or you can just get the plain. It comes in a pouch inside of a box, and you can get shredded or chunked. You can buy the canned jackfruit, and then you can take some of the sauces with you. You can take some vinegars with you. If you have if you batch prep like I do, I always have veggie burgers in my freezer, my quinoa banana oat muffins in my freezer. And so I would just be able to grab containers of those, load up your cooler. And you know, you can take fruit with you. You can take fresh fruit with you, or you can buy some dried fruit to take with you. And you can buy the shelf-stable quinoa and shelf-stable rice that's already made. So anyway, lots more of ideas like that on my How to Eat Healthy Anywhere. There's a lot of stuff that you can buy and take with you, you know, for camping and for hiking. We have a, is it called a flash pot? Mm-hmm. A flash pot that has just a little propane
Yeah, it holds
heater.
2 cups of water. You can have 2 cups of water in it.
Yeah, but then you can buy the like the brown minute rice, and then you could, you know, which is already parboiled, and so you just need some hot water to add to it, and you would be able to make rice if you didn't have the shelf-stable already cooked rice in the packets. So there are lots of things that you could take. You kind of have to think out of the box, and you could even mix up some lentil soups with dehydrated vegetables. You can get dehydrated vegetables online. If you just Google dehydrated vegetables, like we have a whole kit for going backpacking, and you could take some of those ingredients in some lentils, and then all you would need would be some boiling water, and you could make soup and, you know, do some seasoning packets. So lots of things that you can do ahead of time to prep for something like that. And either, what did you call it? A bug out bag?
Yeah.
Tom calls it a bug out bag. So you can prep a bug out bag or a box. And, you know, a lot of people who do
here,
this.
Amber says, whole food plant-based bug out bag request.
There you go. Exactly. That's exactly right. And, you know, some people who follow an SOS-free, whole food plant-based lifestyle, they keep an emergency kit in their car. So, which is a great idea if you're traveling. Maybe you're a business traveler and you have to go on road trips, or, you know, you just don't want to get caught without the right kind of food. So a lot of people keep a bag in their trunk or in their back seat, and they have some of the beans that come in the box. They have quinoa and rice that come already cooked in the bags. They have dried fruit. They have some utensils, a paper plate, some napkins, and they just keep that in their car. And there's little travel sizes plastic bottles of vinegar, or just get some food grade small bottles at like Bed Bath & Beyond, and put your own vinegars in them and some spices, and create your own little emergency kit so that you're never caught without something satisfying that's still wholesome to eat. And these days, you guys, you can go into almost any grocery store and you can get some vegetables. You know, you can get a bag of carrots, you can buy bananas and oranges that, you know, don't need to be washed. You can just peel those. I mean, there's vegetable trays that you can buy. There's cut up fruit. There's just, you know, in a pinch, you can buy some prepared hummus. There's the Cedar Lane brand, and it's sold at Whole Foods and a lot of other stores, and they have one that is made without oil and without tahini. Now, it does have some sodium in it, but you know, if you're caught like that, a little bit of sodium is better than going off the deep end and, you know, diving into something that's full of oil, because you'll have health consequences to pay for that. So lots of options. Yes.
Okay, new subject?
Yes.
Okay, Jesse was asking, this is the Multipot 2.0 lid, and Jesse asked in the chat feed about cleaning the steam valve. I think it was garbanzo beans that kind of got gunked up in there. So this guy does pull off, and I think it sounds like you already know that. And of course, this plastic cover, and this is unique to the 2.0, it comes off. And then of course, this shield over the fitting here comes off. And then you can get a clean shot where you can see light straight through there, through the little tube. And it looks to me like the next step would be to get a wrench that fits this and unscrew this from the lid. I have not done that. But if you have a small enough something, a pipe cleaner would be too big. That was mentioned in the chat feed. But I don't know what would fit down there, through there.
To clean in that?
Yeah.
I don't.
Something pretty small, or a good blast of water.
Maybe a toothpick.
Maybe approaching both sides. It's pretty
or
tiny.
a little bamboo, a bamboo skewer.
I think that would still be too thick.
You think that's too thick?
Maybe a needle, like a long needle, or something to get the gunk out and then blast it with water. Yeah, thread some string through and do like floss.
Yeah.
With a
like
small
if you have,
sewing needle.
Yeah, like if you have any like little white string.
Yeah. Now
like we used to use for a turkey.
Yeah, we can find out maybe from them. And then another comment, because I had copy and pasted the show notes from a previous video where the CrispLid had just come back in stock, and I didn't catch that statement was in there, so I just took it out because CrispLids are not in stock. Thank you, Denise.
No, they're not, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mealthy's inventory right now, for whatever reason, is quite low. The Multipot 2.0 is available, and the CrispLid is not. The hand blend is not. They've got some inserts and things further down on their page that are available. They did just get purchased by a company that's based out of Fresno, California. So I don't know if there's an inventory reduction going on in the transition of companies, or whether it's the pandemic is making production issues. I have written an email to them about a week ago asking about availability of inventory, and I have not yet gotten a response back from them. When they do respond to me, that's something I will be putting in a future newsletter, hopefully maybe by our next live show in 2 weeks. So there's a little bit of a mystery on inventory going on with Mealthy right now, and we will get information to you as we know, because I really love this pot. I use it every day.
He does.
I like it a lot better than, there's nothing wrong with the Instant Pot. They're great, but the automatic steam release on this thing is amazing.
It's a lifesaver.
And for me, it's lifesavers because I wind up with, I get to have steamed vegetables and not mushed vegetables because I wasn't around for quick release.
And if I use it come lunchtime, if it's in use,
that's
he's
just
so
terrible.
upset.
That's terrible when it
Okay,
happens.
so there was one other, we got an email from someone, and I didn't jot down her name, and I'm sorry, but she wanted to know what temperature we keep our refrigerator at.
At the standard 37 degrees as prescribed by somebody in authority on refrigerator temperatures. I've seen that on many people say that's
40 or below.
Yeah, so 37 is kind of the official sweet spot.
Yeah, and then she wanted to know if there's particular places that you should store things in the refrigerator for optimal results. And so I did look it up because I thought, I'm not sure that will pertain to our whole food plant-based diet. And a lot of the information on the internet it's about meat and cheese and dairy and eggs and all of that. So what I did learn, which I did know, but it was a good refresher, is that the doors are the least coldest place. So when you open your doors and all the shelves there, that's why it's a good place to put your condiments, because condiments are less likely to spoil. Or it's a good place to keep juice or bottled water if you use that. And of course the crispers, that's where we're supposed to put a lot of produce.
And that's to protect the produce from being as cold, to keep the fluctuations down, and then to also stabilize the amount of humidity in those containers to keep the vegetables fresh.
And a lot of them now do have like sliders so that you can adjust those. And the upper shelves, I read online, says that that's a good place to keep leftovers. And that is, the upper shelves maintain a more consistent temperature overall, and the lower shelves are the coldest shelves. And then if you have kids in your house that go and open the refrigerator and stand there with it open, you need to take that into consideration, because that does change the temperature of the refrigerator. And so if you are keeping like a lot of leftovers in the refrigerator, that could affect the temperature of them. And so your leftovers maybe wouldn't last as long, because your kids are causing the temperature to go up every time they stand there for 15 minutes trying to figure out what to eat. So that's all I know about refrigerators.
That's good. That makes sense. I'll buy that argument.
Okay, good.
Jessie says that thanks me for taking apart the CrispLid, and that she hopes that you appreciate me taking it apart as much as she does.
I do. He is so handy. You have no idea. He can do so many things. In fact, one time our son said, "Mom, how does Dad know how to do all this stuff?" I said, "I don't know. He just does." Some people just have a knack for it.
As you get older, you replace strength with wisdom. That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's nice. I kind of like that. That's kind of nice, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, we are caught up, and because I don't see anything in the short term here, so yeah.
Okay. Well, this was really great, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So if you haven't subscribed, please go over to the blog and subscribe so you'll get the reminders from Tom. If you are new, we do a live show every other Sunday. And that way, if you subscribe, you will find out which Sunday is it. Is it, because sometimes life gets busy.
And I don't send those reminders out per viewer request until like late morning, early afternoon, the day of, because people get that email and it pops up on their phone and they go, "Oh, there's a video this afternoon." If I sent it out yesterday, then you're going to get busy today, and if it was me, this is what happens, and it would be gone for me. So I actually purposefully wait for that last minute to get it out just a few hours before, so it can be on your radar of what's going on today. And
you can always put it on your, set a timer, or put it on your, as an event, on your calendar on your smartphone too, so that you'll get a reminder.
Oh, Dylan's saying hi here.
Hey, Dylan.
That was Dylan's thing going by, not Reeves. So, hi, Dylan. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, if you need any Boil Your World sauce, there's a link in the show notes for you, Dylan. Oh, wait, you might already have some of that on hand.
I'm looking forward to all the new stuff he has. Oh, Tom needs to get an order in. Tom needs a place in order. We're looking forward. He's going to come out with a lot of new products, you guys. So there's marinara sauce, and there's going to be date powder, and nutritional yeast, and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be fun to explore all the new things that Dillon has coming. We're excited. Okay. All right. So I'm Tami.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you
get healthy and stay healthy. One meal at a time. Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.